Ata Fielt. Logistics. This book is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places, and incidents either are products of the author's imagination or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual events or locales or persons living or dead is entirely coincidental. Copyright 2017, Leo Thomas Zupan IV, all rights reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced or transmitted in any form or by any means electronic or mechanical, including photocopying, scanning, recording, or by any information storage or retrieval systems, without the written permission of the publisher except where permitted by law. Hooray. Book written through L.T. Zupan. Read by L.T. Zupan. Began September 27th, 2015. Complete 2017. Devoted to love. Other books written through L.T. Zupan in chronologic fashion. Part Eulogy. 11 unnamed art collection books containing varied color illustrations, primarily dark, consisting of over 1,000 phenomenal pieces, discarded to a close acquaintance due to extreme financial concerns, which in turn stemmed from a whole host of other factors. Started 1996, completed anywhere from 2002 to 2007, I really have no fucking idea. I had a lot of other things I was forced to deal with at the time. Sapphire and Tendril, a collection of 550 majorly darker pieces of poetry, disregarded by all and subsequently lost. Started 1996, completed 2002-ish. Spiral Trinity, 2008 to 2009. Spiral Affinity, 2009. Spiral Unity, 50% written and then stolen would-be completion of the Spiral Triad hardcover. It was the best poetry, etc. I ever wrote, and the second half would have been interstellar, to say the least. I never rewrote or finished it after someone in Guatemala stole it, and, of course, the wind from my sails. It can never be rewritten. 2009 to 10-ish. Travel Around Heart, 2012 to 2015. Ata Fielt. Quote, though I desire, and will have, a ninja entourage of fit, sexy, thin, superhero strong ladies, I can still not draw a cow. End quote. Lee. You're welcome. Preface. Taken from an earlier book, Spiral Affinity. meeting. Hello, he said. What are you going to say? She said back. How's your night going? Is that really what you're going to say? Well, what should I say? Pausing. She smirked a little, leaving him in that uncomfortable, hanging zone where it's hard to pull thoughts into your brain and your charisma is tested. At this exact moment, something clicked for both of them. I mean, what do you want to talk about? Already in love with her and the unspeakable qualities in and around her huge black pupils and blue eyes that triggered an almost painful, high-pitched longing and adoration. Aching for union, deepened connection, and things we have now words for yet. Maybe tones, but no words so far. He knew what he thought at that moment about the word love, but more, he knew what he felt. What took you so long? She spoke. To find your way back. That's what I want to talk about. She looked deeper as she spoke. It's what something wanted, I guess. I always tell myself it wasn't me. He said. She never saw him die. That's what bothered her the most. Though she knew it didn't bother him. That was just his nature. And like everything else, she loved that about him. In all those years, they never fought. Not even once. If people believed it, it would have showed them it was, in fact, possible. They stood there and stared at each other, speechless, thoughtless, and without drive. What's your name? They called me Isa. Will. They connected hands and he pivoted her thin wrist around with the most care and grace his boxy male form would allow and could muster, leaning forward while slightly genuflecting. He kissed her hand on her fingers, right below the knuckles, staring at her until his lips touched her skin, which he closed his eyes for. It was a mix of many emotions and many things beyond describable feeling. "Would you like to go walking tonight?" she asked, like it was just any other night. They were on the corner when they met. Gray stones formed the corner, as well as the general color of the connecting strip of buildings, backdropping their rebirthing, their reunioning. They stood up on a street like New York City and many other towns, and picked up to walking. The town was boisterous and excited with weekend alcohol discoveries as old and repetitive as time. People popped out, around, and circulated in human-animal swirls as they walked along. After a few blocks of moving silently and weaving through people in elegant unison, the various traffics died down and became quieter. He thought about turning to her and hugging her and holding her tight in an embrace he couldn't exist outside of. She thought about how silly her unsure dialogue was, nervously jumbling her mind around. She was grateful it was easy for her to notice it, these past few years especially, after a decade of stress dominating on its whim. Thoughts entered her mind about the meaning and magnitude of the last 10 minutes, and she allowed the thoughts to flow in and out largely unnoticed, as they had no grace and their love had no words. They walked on. "I almost stopped believing in you." "I did stop, several times," she replied. As her words reacted in them, they turned and stared into each other. They sat down in sync. The outside world nearly faded away entirely. They started crying without sounds. As the intensity grew, their eyes were repelled from the power of it. Too much, too fast, both of them knew. Neither were omniscient, but they knew a thing or two, like the first time they met, centuries ago, in different bodies and different times. As they stood up, he moved around to her left side and held her hand. "Do you want something to drink?" "There's a place right up here I like." Both of them forcing themselves to let their minds court. "Good. The only places I know are on the Strip," she said with a slight, cute vulnerability. "It's called Vigha's. It's a real nice place. I like it. One of my favorite places downtown." "Where are you from?" "Savannah." "Not too bad. the corners of his mouth moving up. Yeah, it could have been worse. I mean, hell, I thought I was going back there in a week. I mean, I'll still have to go back, tie up loose ends. She fidgeted a little and then surged with emotion. I've missed you so much. So much time. I'm hoping it wasn't just my imagination. He said, his voice breaking on the last word. Well, the waiting's over. She smiled. He couldn't help it. He snapped. He grabbed Issa with a hand on her lower back and pulled her gently and quickly into his arms. They held each other as tight as they could for as long as they could, crying silently, smiling and shaking. People walking by gawked from the magnetism. Eventually they pulled back and looked straight ahead. After pausing to catch themselves, they walked on to the shop. We should be alone tonight, she said. You read my mind. I knew you'd say that. Smiling again. We're almost here, he continued. After a moment, what have you done with your life? God, I miss how you talk. No one has that version of the truth. I've been married, and I've floated from job to job. I was back in school again for therapy until today. I've never found school very therapeutic. No, far from it, she smiled and scooted closer to him, to be cradled while they walked. As they got close, Issa asked, "Oh, so it's a coffee shop." Bar/coffee. Oh, so can I get espresso beans saturated in vodka, encased in chocolate? It would disturb me if you couldn't. She broke down. How can this happen out of nowhere? Years, a lifetime. And then out of nowhere? What a sick joke. Are you just gonna get pushed out again one day? The same way? I can't go through it again. I can't. And she broke down into sobs and glitched speech. He held her, of course, and consoled with energy more than words. I feel the same way. We don't control this. At least we haven't. I don't know anything except I'm with you now, and I feel as I always have. We don't know anything. It's just the way God likes to keep jabbing at us. I don't know. I know, she said, recovering and sniffling. Let's just go get some toffee. I just had to get that out. I'm sure there's more freakouts to come. Get out what you need to. You've always been beautiful when you cry anyways. I'm getting fat caffeine ice. The first night. One. I should have got what you got. It's pretty damn tasty, he said, automated. So what are we gonna do? He asked. Not tonight. Not just tonight, yeah. What do you do anyways? She asked flatly. Spend money. Smiling. What does that mean? Well, I would only say it that way to you, of course. I have money, or we have money now, and I'm lucky enough to not work. Just kind of float around, pursue my passions, etc. Well, that's nice. Has it always been this way? Pretty much, uh-huh. Since I've grown up, so to speak. I did a lot of work when I was younger. I don't mind work too much. I just like it to be work that matters, you know? Well, what good fortune? When's it gonna run out? Probably never. I don't usually tell people about it, though, you know. Changes things. Yeah, I'd imagine. So what about your passion? He gave little bunny ear quotes with his hand. Art. The world in my paintings. I want to live there. Sometimes. What do you paint? Well, it's a place, like I said. I go there and paint what speaks to me. The things and parts and friends and creatures that bring up feelings and memories I ache for. He might have been there at some point in your existence. You could see some one day. Tell me what you think, what you feel. God, it's really nice to be able to even find these words from company. You know how it is. Some people you can't. Well, most people. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'd like that. I get the feeling I haven't been there. To that place you talk about. But I think I would like to. It sounds strange and nice. It is. It's very much the idea or feeling of something like violet blue. But a lot of other stuff, too. Hard to put into words, she said. When do you think you were there? You men and when, I tell you. It's nice being here with you finally. It feels like it's only been a day or two. I know what you mean. She sat there, twiddling her blonde, longish hair with thick, sparse, dropping spiral curls, like a golden fountain from follicles and chalky scalp, soft, imbuing the physical of her angelic heart. Blue eyes looking around in a sort of calm, bobbing fashion, occasionally anchoring back on Will, as well as Will. He took in the atmosphere, and distinguished himself with crossed legs, coffee, smoke. It was habit he started to enjoy, and somehow managed to still enjoy. He looked at her regularly with different energies, feelings. Excited, mellow, something like a respectful precursor to arousal, teary love, and longing. Ultimately, in his oscillations, peace was what he kept running through. Because he needed it. He knew she needed it. And the situation, if it could even be called that, demanded it. Though it never demanded anything, with its subtle delicacy, various other oscillations. His awareness of his workings was fairly constant, as was hers. Yet they both had the wisdom, or perhaps age, to be guided and focus on, or grow, the experiences and feelings they liked. Doing what their soul suggested to their mind. Well, I do love to travel. He picked up after their pause. Done with it for a while now, at least a year. I used to enjoy casual sex, fine dining, drugs, etc. And I guess I don't dislike that now, but it's just not the urge it was. And fullness really overcomes blankness, I've noticed. With time, of course. What else? I was very mentally spiritual. But really it's all about music and experience for me now. But for me, lately, has become more for us. He motioned with his hands to include the world. I do like art, though, too. I painted and drew, so on, for a few years. It was just really an extended hobby, though. For you, it's one of your focal points, or something like that. I can tell. So anyways, yeah, it's all music for me now. Can't take a break, really, until it's rolling good and growing on its momentum. I don't think it'll be too long, though. I've put a lot of time to get into this home stretch. Music, like how? Singing, vocals, other stuff, but really singing is the focus. Yeah? What kind of music? I'll sing it to you one day. I'd like that. Even before you were here, you were amused with me. Another pause. God damn it, he muttered. What is it? That same old thing, where I start to feel what it's on the brink, and the times we could have, and the way it could, probably might. It makes me so happy. And so, he held back, breaking. Her smiling back. It's okay. Another shift. Their converge separation dance pivoted with her last statement. But beyond that, a goosebump, energetic surge started stirring subtly within and around their table, and a darkness grew, not one of fear but intensity. The entrance to the patio told them to look. A dry leaves hurricane or whirlpooling up, perhaps on some kind of brick road feeling, 3-4 feet in the air, or something like that. There was an undeniable presence, and event approached. Most people would probably have automatedly nervous and maybe uncomfortable, jittered and frantic, while pretending not to be. Their speech and energy sort of steamrolled and pushed down any, at first seemed scary, potential. But Issa and Will were stupid and smart, depending on the fate that would become, as it always does. The stirring down calmed down in order to grow. They calmed enough as well to look at each other with signification. 4 a.m. They had no thoughts, just a collected perceptibility. Will did the only reasonable thing he could do at a time like this. He reached out to his cigarettes, which were always strong, and took one out. Issa motioned for one. He stuttered for a quarter second and then moved on, as he sensed it had definitely been at least a year or two for her in smoking. But, knowing her, she wouldn't jump right in anyways. She pulled one out and put it non-dramatically between her dark and heavily red lipstick lips. He lit his, then hers. They had time to inhale once each. Suffice to say, it was a good drag. Two. A man walked through the entrance by the patio anticlimactically, and as they looked back again. For a split second, all the people in movement around him stopped, froze, like a pause on the world. Just a split of a second, almost to make a point, but not the way we humans make points. He was wearing an all-black suit with strange, subtle collar and strange, subtle cuffs. Slightly Latin-looking, the suit was. He was almost short, but with more of an average height. He walked towards their table, looking ahead, which avoided eye contact. And he approached their table. Is this seat taken? No. Do you mind if I sit for a moment? No, of course not. I've always liked pleasantries. Moreover, politeness, I suppose. Are you? She asked. Yes. But only in several senses, of course. He smiled, almost chuckling. It was a worm thing that caused his entire face to not transform so much, but to grow. The spike of love, or belonging, she felt, spiked right as he smiled the same way towards Will for a split second. Perhaps out of politeness, but probably more than perhaps. I can't be here long, but I'm sure it will be long enough. We can always meet again later. For longer, you know. The same smile and experience, only more intense. They did everything they could to stay centered and go into a certain measure of peace. It felt as though they would miss something if they became giddy or not fully composed, and rush into their words and actions from thought instead of the purity this situation deserved. Why? Why did it deserve anything in the first place? Well, that was always unexplainable, as sacred feelings and deep, true urges nearly always are. I like the feeling of a long journey. I've liked it for a while. He continued. Tears of triumph. Apparent horror to allow joy. Discovery. And your sweetheart, my loves. Oh, Will, now you're making me want to sing again, he said, wry and smiling. Anyways, you've got something here. Don't let it get away. I've sent you as examples, along with anyone who will listen. No one has for a while. His radiance shifted down to a sorrow he hid. It punched tears out of all three of them. Automated, silent, natural, communal. What can we do? She asked, and felt foolish and confused with herself for even asking. Yeah, you can. I miss you so much, Will blunted, not looking at anyone as he spoke. He suddenly cared if people around them heard. And any other time, he would have been angry with who this man was. A few seconds later, he's written many songs about that foolish anger. Now he knew it had been given to him as a gift. The man in the suit looked at Will. Stay strong. Your faith leads you to me. I have to go now. Why? She asked. Not about him leaving, that is. For the moment, you stop having the burden of carrying why. So we can show off sometimes. Not just for comedy. Though, you know, the truth is beyond your words. You'll be fine. The hard part is over. Have pity on my brothers. Please. They miss you. Will, I like that style. And he smiled with an awesome coolness. Especially where it's going. He stood up and kissed Issa's hand while kneeling. I've always loved you, woman. There's so much more than us, you know, he said as he glanced at Will. And then back to Issa, he said, distance is not between us. He gave Will a soft but firm, masculine best friend energy, as pure as all of his other gestures. Kneeling a last time, he clasped their hands together on the table. He covered theirs with his. The man bent his head down, and a lock of dark hair extended. He touched his forehead on their holding, and cried with a few quiet gasps. Lifting his head silently, thank you. I hope the rest of your night is relaxed and enjoyable. I'll see you again. I don't see how I couldn't. Smiling, he walked silently and nondescriptly away, saying good evening to the hostess on his way out. She stared at him as he turned the corner away and out of vision. The couple remained together at the table, closed eyes with their hands together. Duplicity. Unity. 1. They exchanged telephone numbers. They said very little, naturally, close to exhaustion, but a good exhaustion. Within minutes of the man in black's departure, they separated and agreed to call each other soon. Issa went back to a hotel room, and Will to another. They were happy to be apart, and eager to meet again at the same time. Prelude. One dash 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 dash. To open with a theory. There are, in the States, as you well know, Chinese restaurants claimed as #1 Chinese restaurant. There are First Lutheran churches and churches of various other denominations that have first in their name. Sioux, the number first Chinese Methodist Church restaurant. It is a theory I have. The restaurant aspect should be quite lowercase and lower emphasis, though, of course. Now, aloha. With infinite respect to Kuan Yin, and also as a dear friend to Rastafari. My name is Lee. Lee is a name. Self, at its core, has no name though. So, I will be referring to my real or core self in this book as first person names like I and me and myself. And then I will be oscillating and speaking of myself in third person, or whatever, it's whatever, as Lee, being referraled, the identified and subsequently named self. It's whatever. I and Lee are also the same, though we are not, and different combinations, etc. Also, past tense and present tenses are utilized interchangeably. Two. Dash, 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 dash. Cockroaches come in different sizes. All the ones in my apartment, I see 3 or 4 a day, are tiny little ones. I just killed one with my black low-top shoe, the left shoe. As I sit here writing this, I am both sad and occupied. Occupied by writing this. The sorrow Lee feels and has felt is from a lifetime of being mistreated 3/4 of the time. Mistreated and misunderstood by everything. 3 dash 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 dash. A shift occurs. I start thinking about how my SSDI direct deposit is coming through in near 5 1/4 hours. Maybe I can just flip that whole old script of this typical life, and instead of employing those old standard options Lee has had, why not go out? And buy one of those Mega Millions lottery tickets in the morning. Yeah. Why not? I spent the rest of the evening consuming air, food, Mountain Dew, media of various kinds from a storage on my no Wi-Fi apartment tablet, and so forth. I pass out, and my alarm awakes me at the 8:33 a.m. in the morning time. For dash 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 dash. I try to keep my hope. Go through that classic morning routine that happens often. and walk to the Kroger grocery store. After getting a lotto ticket, one, and food for a day, frozen entrees, though I have no microwave, along with a little alcohol. I already have tobacco. After a nap, I check the Megalotto on my motherfucking Walmart flip phone browser. Well, shoot. I win. I win. Part 1. Redemption. Chapter 1. Transition up. One. Dash 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 dash. So here I sit with a $97 million winning lotto ticket and $914 in my bank, $7 in my pocket. Somehow, I'm not really surprised. I could kind of see it coming. So I roll a cheap-ass smoke and think for 8 minutes, or 7. I call the cab company and check into a $200 a night hotel with Wi-Fi in downtown Columbus, Ohio. On the way, I get a bigger size screen tablet at the Walmart there. My phone would be fine for now. And 4 packs of smokes, etc. 2 dash 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 dash. I wake up with 1 bag of possessions and call Mike Wise, my lawyer friend, to ask him for a recommended financial advisor lawyer. He knew somebody. I do my laundry and call a Mr. Jack Dawson. He picks me up and we go to the lotto office on a Tuesday in October 2015 to collect, and to the Social Security office to cancel. Finally, to the Child Support Enforcement Agency to pay. By Friday, my debts were cleared, SSDI canceled, a passport acquired, my teeth repaired, and I had a medical checkup that went well. I now have $4,800 in my new wallet, in my new pants, part of my new wardrobe, and $75 million in my bank accounts after taxes, with investments arranged so as long as I don't spend more than $8 million a year, it will grow forever. I'm fine with this limit. I acquire very nice versions of all the basic possessions one needs to live day to day, with no car, but with a lot of music, and even a few copies of books I've written and demo music tracks I've recorded. Last, I book a flight to Tribeca and a nice-ass hotel there. The weather is supposed to be perfect, along with the ocean, which always is. Three, dash, 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 dash. I feel like I've already said goodbye to Ohio, because I went all the places I couldn't afford before, and partied for a week after winning the lotto, even though I gave it a fair chance. It was still just okay. So getting on the plane, I know it is time to go. 11-hour flight to Tribeca, with time zones factored, that is. I watched Columbus fade from my life for its winter at least, through an airplane's glassy window. 4, dash, 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 dash. The plane's landing beeps wake me up. A driver meets at the exit hall. As I walk through the doors, Lee feels a rush of southern France swelled air, and I breathe it in complete. The car is a standard silver gray Rolls-Royce kind of a thing, with a lot of dark tint, as requested. We drive along the coast, also as requested. Chapter 2. Float and Drive and 1, dash, 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 dash. When the ocean appeared, I roll down the tinted window. One day, cars will drive themselves. All I can think of is the dreamy need to rest. Exasperated and long overdue for having wanting fulfilled. For that universal coaster on the coffee table of space. I had poetry experiences with 4 breaths, intakes or communions with ocean breeze, air, and shore water, sky, wave sight, vision. It was quick to roll a window back up and then crash in that penthouse bungalow to just start coasting away. Two, dash, 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 dash. Well, waking up is a journey from dream world fluid to dream world solid, a sand gradient, soft angled as a tilt from one to the slid to other. After 33 years and 19 months, Lee finally achieves the wanted transition, satisfies desire, and I let the past close. Sitting up in bed, life begins another life, which will do the same again, only always better. 3, dash, 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 dash. From the vantage point of sitting upright on the light blue satin-sheeted bed, I see through the windows overlooking the beach, and I look at ocean and breathe, and breathe, and breathe. Four, dash, 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 dash. My cash afforded me fake teeth and high-tech dentures. Other high-tech hygienics make my so-called morning routines virtually non-existent. This morning only requiring slight hot water to wash my face. I dressed and walked over to that old balcony, archetype and place, where I smoked by the ocean and started to feel her introduction. Her, of course, being not just the ocean. I ordered coffee with my phone, and Marietta arrived with it. French pressed Turkish coffee. I ask if she will have a balcony seat and chat for a little while before she drives me to town, where the recommended singles club and the recommended substantial deliveries are inevitable or inevitable. She says, sure, sounds delightful. Beautiful morning, isn't it, sir? Yes, it is. 5 dash 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 dash. You know I can feel her coming to my life soon, Mary. Yes, I know, sir. What would you say about the ocean, Marietta? Well, I love the ocean. It breathes at night and makes me want to drift away forever. To ever. Sometimes. And its sunny blue days clear me and cleanse clarity through my heart. And I know then, and now, my blood is a crystal form of blue. The gray, rainy shores and violent, stormy expanses are the greatest pieces and the purest power I've felt. Part of me right now wants to speak of the ocean forever. Does that answer your question, maybe, sir? Yes, Marietta. Yes, it does. Thank you. I'll be ready to leave soon. 6 dash 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 dash. I'll be ready to leave soon. And sow I did. And reap I did. Back in a vehicle, sleek, black, and glossy, we commute as a blunt bullet or a mellow dark laser beam would motion through road, artery, and stop turns, roundabout to that quiet town by the sea. Home to brilliant, wealthy transients such as oneself. The building was another one of those memories, and is. We're here, sir. I could already see the still brew of purple-blue luminosity through its building, halfway down the block. So stopped we are. Marietta opens the door and I hand her my Long Island iced tea, with its blood orange maroonity, with its tall, narrow, cylindrical, dewy glass, and she just shuts the door behind me. My black shoe heels and toes clickety-click and clack ascendant, broad gray stone stairs, as well as steps, and I do that classic sphere survey near those doors. Huge wooden dark brown doors. Beautiful human goddesses, dressed unattending as a hummingbird's carefully draw the 2 doors open, and I walk straight through its way and its middle. I am greeted prompt by Dharma's podium, as with its respective little hostess, Debbie. To our VIP balcony, sir. Yes. Yes, indeed. Your delivery is here, and waiting for you. 8. Dash, 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 dash. She was near now. I knew it. As I pulled copious rum and fruit through many ice cubes, through straw, on a beautiful balcony with a wooden floor, where we would meet once again. Thoughts of music and my progress with it reassert their muse-sing as Lee waits, and waits, and waits. And she arrives. Chapter 5. Start. 1 dash 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 dash. Okay, so I have a music project I need to start. Lee speaking. And I'm going to start writing another book now that I finished this last one, Ata Fielt. I hold up the print form of Ata Fielt. It's going to be called Heart Ocean. A pause. Also, I'm going to start my art again. Elaborate colored ballpoint pen sketches on tapestries, as I like to call them. Another pause. She nods. I continue. So this means a lot of travel is soon to come, and experiences I can't foresee as well. Well, I'm not easily surprised. Neither am I. I continue. Good then, it's settled. I look forward to your involvement, as it is of equal importance as my own. I want you to know that's how I view it. She smiles, she pauses, she nods. So I'm going to order some drugs then, very powerful uppers, some of them, to be taken after we decide where we need to go. We need to find a place where we can get inspired and a body of work can be composed, and thereafter we need to find the place that is where we shall find her. Who's she? Her who? The other singer. I'm only to be half of this project's lead. She pauses. Order the drugs. Oh, and darling, can you please find me a properly made Mai Tai? 2 dash 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 dash. As soon as we crack open the atlas to a world map page, the Marietta door opens. Good old Mary. She places a silver tray down on the side table, and I hand her a bag. This is for you. She peers in, a little worried, and lifts up her circular spectacles. Oh my, sir. And madam. Thank you. De nada, I say. Are you up for travelings, Marietta? Any time, sir. My phone number never changes, you know. She smiles professionally to us. Very good then. Please just leave the tray. We will be in touch with you. Chances are late in the night. Be ready to fly. I hand her a bonus check for $85,000. Stay with us, Marietta, on our missions, which are of utmost key for the next while, on quite a grand scale. And I don't want money to be a factor. Cheerio, Mr. Stillmore, and Ms. Perton. You can count on me. Thank you, Mary, says Taya. She shuffles off, and it isn't long before she starts calling Taya by her first name from time to time. The door bangs nervously shut. I think she's happy. Lee. I know she is. 3 dash 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 dash. We place the drugs on the coffee table for later explanation and subsequent consumption. Taya sips a Mai Tai. We open the world map back up. The world splays out before us on a coffee table. We trance to its mappings and graph lines. I have some kind of red energy drink, you can guess which one, along with 2 kinds of rum and a little gin. I tend to call the drink Red rum, red rum. Anyways, I ponder Charlotte Bronte's love all the way through to Anne Rice's often very quite dark love. The album in my mind with sadness as a major core of it, great sorrow, never belittling its other components all the while. Finally, Emily Wells and Jacob Noel, Bradley Noel's son, pop in my head, and the band named Law. The map gleams and glints with Pangaea, Pangea always coming right on through. Albuquerque. It becomes so very clear and obvious. I ask, have you ever been to New Mexico? Not yet, she says. It is majorly sacred, I state flat out. For ... We close the book. After that, Memphis, I should think. Memphis is where she is now, I say. Time for some time away from any literal oceans, my love, it does seem, I then say. We both slowly turn our heads to the little drug pile just then. I go on. So, as I didn't start to say before, this is a not very hallucinogenic at all pack of druggy drugs, right here. And I move the tray to be in front of us on the table. We both stare at it. A moment goes by and passes. Well, it's time for the train to sail, I say. Taya unties the little decorative package. Legalize the forest, please. I can't remember where I come from. That was a quote. Various altered forms of amphetamine pill, very strong MDA, and a chunk of medium-strength opiated hash, all just as requested. She takes off her top, and then followed by her $1,925 floral black silky bra, her breasts looking slightly pink somehow, and sets to powderizing the molly and amphetamines, which she then wraps in a small piece of tissue paper. We grimace, swallow them, and pass some hash around. Back and forth a little bit. Within 55 minutes, we are flying. Now, I don't know why, but we've never really cared, one way or the other, to fly privately. The blackness of the night just rolls on around us. Chains of plans, Mary, take us to Mandala, the local prestigious dance club. We pull up and they open our door. Taya laughs and shuffles her top back onto her, minus that black bra, what with its trim and all. HTDA is coming pounding through the walls. We are led through the front doors, past the lines of lines, up to VIP as usual we go. How gloriously vibrant and bored I am, and she is. We see each other and feel everyone. We sleek and we rock in a dark and beautiful dance of a trance, elegant grace, pure power. Her body sways and laments in a frozen posture of majesty, stern and porous. I get poison called absinthe, and she gets a red and purple drink. The VIP area is quite alive this night, and subtly beaming with bright neon shafts piercing the darkness. People swooning all about. A little woman with a huge hat approaches Taya. "Who are you?" She smiles to Taya. "I am your phantom, and his heart is red wine." "I think I like you," the little woman says. Industrial-ass dubstep kicks in, as if it weren't already a candy rave. We lose ourselves on the VIP dance floor, and the night progresses along to unforgettable partying with a capital party. We find ourselves taking off the ground at dawn, and the sunburst clenches of the night before swim around our heads. The houses, the peoples, the ecstasies. Albuquerque is bright and clear as we land. The landing gear drops like a stork. Mary is, as always, way ahead of us, and waiting with a light tan small limo. Gregory, on the other hand, has been replaced by Jeffrey, though he is generally merely on standby anyways, and well paid for it. 5 ... I retire to the bedroom in need of privacy, and Taya dozes on the woolly mammoth couch. Our hotel rooms are huge and a mellow combination of bronze, orange, yellow, and white. Little accents of red, purple, and black. I lie in bed, pondering, contemplative. What a life that has started to become, I think. Honey, do you want to take a huge bubble bath? I have pink bubble stuff, you know. Muttering the last part to myself. Yeah, I'd love to, smearing the eyes out of her dust, she does. I draw an epic bath. So what's it going to be about? She yawns and squints her eyes. Okay, I start. I can give you some short answers to that. What I know so far. A pause. And then, so it's 11 or so pieces I know I need to compose lyrically on my end first. And she has the other half to bring to the table when the time is right. And those 11 pieces will 60% contain a great sorrow. It isn't a concept album this time, just random flexible pieces. Some comedy will find its way into at least one piece, I'm sure. The first piece shall be a prayer spell for the rest of the pieces and beyond. A few pieces are to be just pure beauty, 3 or so of them to have much rage. I'm aiming for honesty, to the inspiration that is, and to make something that will purify what has bothered me before. Some attempts and tryings to break the listener into infinite ecstasy, and the singer. A little spoken word stuff too. And last, love. Definitely love is going to find its way in there. When do we start? Tomorrow, after we go to the mall. Whole thing will probably take me around 2 weeks. Waffle cones at the mall. Best ones in the world. 6. Dash, 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 dash. Teeny bopper girls with pink berets stare at me as we walk from the limo to the food court. I can only wish they were poppin' juicy fruit. Gum, that is. Gum. Thankfully, no one stalks us to the ice cream parlor. We stride about and stroll through Casio shops and salesmen of fake snow. Do not engage the kiosk people, obviously. We stop at the so-called pet shop. I restrain the urge to give a cream-softened waffle cone bit to the baby bunnies. So many baby bunnies if you think about it. We go to the video game shop and get some Pokemon informational medicine. After the emo shop and the panties shop and the sunglasses store, it all just starts to blend together. You know what I'm saying? Some temporary Japanese sweetheart plaything breezes out of our hotel when we return. Oh yeah, we think. Kind of forgot about her. And I had specifically requested a library. I take the hottest cup of straight dark roasted Kenyan coffee into it, and a composition book, a ballpoint pen. Music is first, I tell myself. In Memphis, there will be time to start writing and sketching art. The first piece starts to come to me within 8 minutes. Pretty standard, really. Over the course of the next 13 days, Taya comes and spends time with me off and on in the library. Our telepathy is a sort of circuit like a portion of a ribbon which bows from outside the veils, as it were, if you will. Time drifts by and one day turns into other. Nearly recluse, the first burst comes through in a week. I smoke and drink coffee and watch vampire witch movies. Mist and steam pours and rolls out of the mug, as near intricate as the tobacco tendrils. Days and nights go by in this same way, as a romantic, long, thin series of clouds. The second burst comes and it is complete. I review it all and edit it twice. The final edit comes in Memphis, I knew. Halfway through all of this is a break. A time to let the inspiration gestate, recharge, etc. Really, not quite a break, more of a space, really. During this break, we sojourned to the Arizona desert for a day and a night, for once in our own car. Taya drove, as she occasionally likes to do so. I have no license, along with no will to have one. Somewhat near Tucson, it is utter desolated desert, clear and vast, and red. 7 dash 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 dash. Are we inspired enough now, then? Need I ask? She tells. I look at her and remember her saying, "Come and dance with me. Don't go," a lifetime or two ago. I ask her to turn off. Over to the empty desert at 3 p.m. We drive dirt roads around huge rocks to absolute empty nothing. The red convertible with the top off gets itself turned off. We walk out to where the car is a lost dot. Life encompassed by sun rays and visions, hot dust, flaring snakes, riding cacti of 1,000 transparent knives. Burning as the sun, I become a shaft of glare. Walking through that doorway, I see my death as those before have. She jumps on my back and we kill each other for the gust of it, the quiet still. A slow careen of her neck, a deep, still tilt of my potency's arcs. We gesture and gesture of or as dust in the windless day, insomniacs to life's commercial's death. She tells me she loves me. I hold her all around. My death is a secret to be publicized, by the way. I drip down to the ground and she hollows up to me like an earthen inversion. The red overtakes us all always. The sun shines and we walk along its rays, our mouths dry. A cool, steady, death-defying walk. Her silk skirt hoops itself. And the blue above us turns black and back to blue again, yes, once again. "Right, my woman sandals, you fuck," she says to me, and grins evil, so toothy she is. I look at her red scales and scrape fire to the sky, for her from this old breaking throat. My last tones for her. I siren. A. Back in Albuquerque, the chapter called an album. I decide not to call it Spacecation, in all seriousness, because this is where we want to be, in all seriousness. Ha! 8 dash 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 dash. Mary. Yes, yes. I know it is a very hot day today, Mary. Smiling I am. Can you have a blue station wagon over her? She wants a blue station wagon. Yes, she just does. And it's to go to the airport. We're off to Memphis, Marietta. Please inform Jeffrey if you can. Thank you so much, Mary. Pleasant journeys. Yes, sir. I'm happy for Memphis, sir. Anything else I should bring or do? No, that would be it, Mary. Thank you for asking, sweetie. Godspeed. The flight attendants flirt with each other. With us, we land. Taya gets stylishly aggressive with the concierge to find the coolest music scene bar places in Memphis. Not run-of-the-mill alone, you know. We patter off to it, this time on feet and with city bus for the trip of it. People pour out onto a strip of some kind, and we go to the first alive band playing in one of those recommended. ID? We have to laugh, then flatten our lips like doom flashers. Such a world. The rocker of the bass drum shakes in unnoticed of its origins, like some kind of bassinet. 9 dash 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 dash. Impossible Pornography was the name of the band, and they were tearing it up. Have you ever heard of Impossible Pornography? Well, I never. Anyways, I don't know. Maybe I would have called it The Knowledge of Her Beauty, or something. Band names. Anyways, make fun, not funny. Egg-wall. Suffice to say, the metamusic scene flushed adolescent coloration. We definitely rocked out, but something was lacking. We kept knowing she wasn't to be found in those halls that night, yet we found ourselves looking around in the many crowds in various stages. Finally, a female punker band just fucking killed it at the very end of the night at some after-hours place that cannot be recalled. We break down and call Jeffrey to the 24-hour bubble tea lounge. I scream at poor Jeffrey. He complies, but declines to come in and join our drunken bubble teaing. He always was a little nervous around the super girly females who do inhabit that particular posh parlor. Taya and I, on the other hand, are devoted. We're not Murfandas, but it is a Mirandacle. I don't care for big words. So we enter and are seated. We survey the rooms from our tabelle, which is dressed like a peppermint. In the corner is a huge square with a group of Asian girls simply erupting. I peer through them to find a dark-haired, pale woman sitting Indian style with a knowing smile on profound dark red lipstick. Her hair is black, complex, and all tied together in impossible patterns. Her dress is tasteful but loud, patchwork. She is speaking off and on, and everyone around her is having a ball because of her. I clutch to Taya, and we approach their table. At this point, Taya is being used by me as a literal human shield. Through a sea of animal backpacks and spirit hoods, I ask her if she likes Invader Zim. She says, "What? Like you mean Invader Zim cover songs?" We join her table. "I'm Natalia," she says, "and don't bother asking. The answer is I'm half Spanish, half Asian, and half Native American." "I'm Lee. This is Taya. She's all white." Taya marvels at Natalia for a moment. 10 ... I sit on the saber-toothed couch reading her lyrics with Taya. Some cello playing lightly in the background. "These are truly great fucking lyrics, man," she says, sifting through the papers. "I mean, that line about the silt? Come on." "I know," I say, lost in those words. The content which I hold in my hands is very different from mine own. I can't imagine how it will integrate, and I think to myself, well, that's probably a good thing. I say fuck it and brew some medium coffee. "Do you want any, Taya?" "Fuck your coffee." She scoffs at me. Fucking bitch. 11 ... Taya just about flat out demands to have a crescent tambourine and to guest appear for occasional songs with us. It sounds perfect to us. From the beginning, it was obvious to everyone, just like the Marietta situation, in fact, that me and Natalia were always and will always be, more than anything, platonic. I reach for my phone, only to find it ringing with Natalia, or Tally, or Natty for short. "Would you like to come over, darling?" "Would I ever?" she squeaks. "Would you like me to send you over a driver?" "No, my moped is just fine, Lee." "Would you like me to send you over some mopeds?" "Yes, Lee, mopeds of death." The letters stood out to me like a cheetah or a sphinx, and lastly, a bunny. God, who drives mopeds in this kind of weather? Taya crinkles her face. Natalia does. And so it is a regular thing that she comes over and the two of us collaborate, with Taya sort of overseeing creatively in her strange way. Once we have the words melded and ready, some pieces separate, but most a combination of our efforts, we begin to ponder other band members. A violinist, I always say, but these days I'm thinking cello, I say. Yes. And piano, we both say at the same time. A guitarist, I continue, and an electronic musician for the drum and bass and whatnot. Perfect, she says. Are you sure? You don't want to change any of that, I ask. Nope, it's perfect. We go through a soft parade of auditioneers, really just for the fun of seeing the wrong candidates. When we are all alone, Taya berates the failing ones. Fashion sense like some kind of extra-dimensional hug. The cellist is an Asian female who has a smaller cello and is adept at moving around with it. Sarah, the pianist, Gloria, has a piano, a keyboard, and a harpsichord too. The guitarist, Brent, is perfect, and the electronic artist tells us also of his capacity as a producer. Morgan is his name. We all go out to lunch together on a boat, Bette Midler playing in the background. The seas open up to us and roll out. Then we go to the studio. 12 ... I get a sack of fiery cocaine in the form of numerous 8 balls in a sack sent to the world-famous studio I had reserved, what with no time to build one yet. The studio doubles as our practice space, and we take our sweet-ass time. Every song functions as a single and as a part of the album's tapestry. Each member extends lavish solos, stands alone as a single, and so forth. 3 months go by, and we are different people. The vocal booths double and quintuple as elevators. She is accented, shrill as divine, cutting and broad. She even raps. I start sketching the album's artwork, other random pieces to be later gathered into an art book develop. I compose with Natalia alone, scenes of a movie to be acted out from time to time on stage. We plan to freestyle music often as well. Taya designs the sets, the lighting, the clothing, and manages the band. Nimwis, we call ourselves. From a basic national tour, a second album would be creatively spawned, we all knew. I start writing the book, Heart Ocean. We get in a soul circle, the 7 of us, and grip tight. The first show is in 2 hours. We get on the stage and everything is red. Tally breaks open the set with a tone that hangs expanding and makes me weep. It takes us 3 shows to gather our momentum and crystallize like an octagonal diamond. Memphis is completed. Time to start the tour.